You are listening to the CPA MOMS podcast with Dawn Goldberg, CPA. This is episode number 216, a foolproof time blocking process. Welcome to the CPA MOMS podcast, the podcast where busy female accountants who also happen to be moms like you get practical support and solutions you need to have it all, a successful career and a happy family. If you are looking for the solution to overwhelm and mom guilt, if you'd like to feel better and have more balance, as well as learn how to take back control of your life, you've come to the right place. Hey there, welcome back to this week's show. As always, I hope you had a great week. And before I get started, I want to mention a few things. We have a lot of job openings at CPA Moms. So if you get our newsletter, you're definitely going to want to check that out. They are virtual positions with our franchisees. There's a whole bunch of them. They're on like a hiring spree this time of year. If you are not a part of our community and you're interested, it's free. You can join us by going to facebook.com/groups/CPA Moms, and you'll get our newsletter and you get all the things. The other thing I wanted to mention, and I know I mentioned this last week, is that we are doing the Balanced Accountant Program, which is a time management program. And this will be a group coaching program. And we're going to only be offering this. So far, right now, it's going to be offered 2 times a year. We might offer it more, but right now it's going to be offered only 2 times a year. And we are offering it in December. It's going to be the first 4 Fridays in December. So you're definitely going to want to check that out. And that will be also in the newsletter, the details. Okay. So let's get started with this week's episode. This is episode number 216, and talking about time management. The title is A Foolproof Time Blocking Process. Now, I have yet to meet an accountant that isn't dealing with productivity issues in one form or another, right? I see this time and time again. Accountants are trying to tackle their never-ending to-do list, and they're working too many hours. And I'm particularly sensitive to this issue for accountant moms because, let's face it, I am one. I know how important your time is, especially when you're raising children and don't want to be tied to your desk more than you have to be. But the truth is that your ability to be effectively productive is one of the key determining factors of your professional success, right? We can't get around that. Those who are able to consistently produce high quality results at a sustainable rate get ahead in business and in life for that matter. The problem for most accountants is that we tend to have a love-hate relationship with time. I've talked a lot about our relationship with time, how we need to improve it. Right? We'd love to have more time. We'd love to have more of it, especially when there's a deadline looming, but we hate how much time seems to be in control. And every accountant that I speak to and that I coach says the same thing. There's never enough time. Thankfully, you can have enough time when you learn a simple process for getting more done in less time. So the time blocking process that I'm going to share with you is how I get more done than anyone else in my office. But here's the thing. I work the least amount of hours. It's how I'm able to do so much without feeling drained or burned out. And it's what I teach in the Balanced Accountant Program. That's what I wanted to mention in the beginning, that we're offering it this December. So this time blocking process is how I am able to be a CPA in public accounting, a professional certified coach for accountants, the community manager at CPA Moms. It's how I was able to write a book, create a weekly podcast, coach my accountant clients, create daily social media posts, take care of my family, have time to myself, and more. I would never be able to get all of that done and more if it wasn't for understanding how to get more done in less time. And when practiced, the process I'm going to share with you becomes easier and easier to implement. And before you know it, it will become a habit, just like brushing your teeth. If you want to improve your productivity and have more time for the people and the things that you love, what I'm going to share with you will be incredibly helpful. I promise you, you can improve your relationship with time by adopting my foolproof time blocking process. And so this week I'm going to discuss the importance of time blocking And I'm going to share the simple time blocking process to get more done in less time. Okay, so let's start with the importance of time blocking. Now, let's be honest. You can probably count on your fingers, on one hand, the number of times you've completed 8 hours of work in an 8-hour workday. Now, whether it's endless meetings, constant emails, constant interruptions, coworkers popping in for a quote-unquote quick chat, your productivity rarely makes it through the day. The problem is that you'll get yourself in trouble when you design your to-do list for an 8-hour workday but end up with just 1 to 2 hours of productive time. So as I shared before on the podcast, to-do lists are one of the least effective ways to manage your time because of one very important factor. You have a human brain. Your lower brain gets completely overwhelmed by to-do lists, and it cannot put things into context. So in other words, it thinks everything is urgent and overwhelming. Now, thankfully, there's a better way, and that way is time blocking. Time blocking is the practice of planning out every moment of your day in advance and deciding specific time blocks for certain tasks and responsibilities. Now, while a standard to-do list tells you what you need to do, time blocking tells you when you're going to do it and how long you're going to take to do it. Now, the simple reason why time blocking works is that it's designed for focus. The truth is that just as your car needs barriers on the highway to keep it traveling in its lane and not veering into oncoming traffic, your human brain needs guardrails too. It needs guardrails, especially at work. By using time blocks to schedule your day, you not only guard against distractions, but you also multiply your focus exponentially, allowing you to get more done in less time. Time blocking works so well because when you are making decisions about what you put into each block of time, you are using your higher brain. That decision-making part of your brain is the secret to getting more done in less time, because when your lower brain wants to do something else, and it will, you can direct it back to what was planned and then focus your attention. You get much more done when you train your brain to be more focused. All right, so now I'm going to talk about the simple time blocking process for getting more done in less time. Now, there are 10 simple steps to the process, but let me just be clear, not every step is necessary each week or whenever you plan your time. A few of the steps apply only when needed. Now, it might seem like 10 simple steps doesn't sound simple or that it would take a lot of time. But here's the thing. Once you've begun to implement them, you'll see how easy they are to practice and become like second nature. So in essence, don't be overwhelmed by the number of steps. Don't let your lower brain tell you, oh my gosh, 10 steps doesn't sound simple. Don't be overwhelmed. You won't be doing all of them every single time, and you'll see. Okay, so step number 1 is sell yourself. So you may only need to do this step a few times, but you must sell yourself on the importance of implementing time blocking. If you're used to using a to-do list, your brain is on board with what you've always done and not on board with something new. You have to sell yourself on implementing time blocking by showing yourself why what you're currently doing isn't working. Look at the ways you're procrastinating, the ways you're never feeling like you've done enough by the end of the day, the things that you're forgetting, the fact that you're losing track, you're spinning in confusion about what to do next, you never seem to have enough time, and on and on. Right? I suggest that you sell yourself on trying the process I'm going to share for 90 days. Once those 90 days are up, you can go back to whatever hasn't been working. But for now, try this foolproof time blocking process and just see what happens. Be willing to see what happens. Okay, step number 2 is a time audit. Again, you might only need to do this second step once or maybe twice, but it's an important step. So as we learned in our audit accounting classes in college, a time audit is similar. It's taking a sample of your time and tracking what you do. Typically, a time audit would be done over 24 hours, 3 days, or maybe over a course of a week. So you want to track your time every 30 minutes by setting a timer, and then you want to write down what you did the previous 30 minutes once the timer goes off. For example, 10 minutes answering emails, 10 minutes scrolling Instagram, and 10 minutes cleaning the kitchen. So why track your time? Because you want to understand how you currently use your time. You want to understand what's working, what's not working, and what's normal or typical. Where are you people pleasing? Where are you not having boundaries? You're not getting enough sleep. Or when do you feel the most focused for complicated work, and what habits are working for you? Okay, step number 3, block what's typical. So now that you know what your typical day looks like, with getting up, getting ready, taking care of the family, getting to work, getting home, activities with the kids, meal times, family times, etc. Now you want to calendar those things in blocks of time. You want a visual representation of what a typical day looks like with the things you gained awareness of during the time audit. So make sure you put the typical things on your calendar accurately, because these blocks will help you to see what you'd like to change. So for example, if you notice that you're spending way too much time doing things that others could be doing for themselves, like chores around the house, you might want to implement new rules. The key is that just because you've always used your time in a certain way doesn't mean it's helpful or useful to continue. This is a step that you might want to do a few times a year to make sure that you like your typical day, that you like what it looks like, and how you typically use your time. Okay, step number 4 is a to-do download. If you're confused because I said to-do lists are an ineffective way to manage your time, don't worry. You're not going to be working off a to-do list. You're actually going to throw it away, but after the step is complete. So for this step, I want you to get everything out of your brain and onto paper, because your brain is for processing, not for storing. I suggest having uninterrupted, distraction-free time, either on Sunday afternoon, which is when I do it, or maybe first thing Monday morning, and dump everything swirling around in your head onto paper. As you're writing, keep asking, what else? What else? Don't judge what comes up. Just put it down on paper. Just keep saying, what else? What else? You can do this step weekly. You can even do it daily. Or you can break up your to-do download by having one for your work week and then one for your weekend. The point is to begin to get in the habit of writing everything down, no matter how big or small. You don't want things swirling around in your head. So now that you have, step number 5, Step number 5 is what's most important. So now that you have your to-do download out of your head and onto paper, I want you to go back and circle the things that are the most important. Now, I discussed the mere urgency effect in a previous podcast, but as a reminder, your lower brain thinks everything is urgent, which is why you need to use your higher brain to decide on purpose what is truly most important. If you left it up to your lower brain, which we all do, we're all guilty of, that's why we have such time management issues, everything would be considered important, which is why many accountants are so stressed and overwhelmed. You need to learn how to use your higher brain more often to rationally decide what is important. Now, for most accountant moms, things like deadlines and appointments would be circled on the to-do download. But make sure you also put the people you value most and your self-care on the to-do list download and circle those as important. Okay, step number 6, you want to estimate. So in my experience, this is one of the most critical steps in the foolproof time blocking process. You must decide how much time you want to give. I'm stressing the word give. You want to give to each important item on the to-do download. Notice I didn't say you must decide how much time each to-do item will take. I didn't say that. This is the key to getting more done in less time. You get to decide how much time you will give or how much time you will spend on something to get the result that you want by the end of that block of time. Most of us let time decide for us by not setting boundaries around our time or deciding in advance how much time we will want to give to the to-do item. Don't let this step confuse you. Choose a reasonable amount of time to get the important thing done, and always be kind to the future version of you that is going to get it done in that block of time. Step number 7, calendar. So you've done a to-do download, you've circled what's most important, and you've estimated the amount of time for the important items. Now, in this step, you're going to calendar the to-do items on your to-do download. You're going to calendar them in blocks, taking into account what you learned in the time audit step. Make sure you're calendaring blocks of time based on what you noticed. For example, if the early morning works best for creative things, don't block off time to do things that would be best done at the end of the day. Or if afternoons are when you get your second wind, block off time for your more complicated accounting work. Okay, one last note about this step. Make sure you are distraction-free when you calendar your blocks of time. It's super important. Give yourself the gift of uninterrupted time to calendar your most important asset, your time. Step number 8, buffer and overflow time. Now, this is an incredibly important step. You don't want to have your calendar jam-packed every minute, so you want to allow some white space. I also recommend blocking off half an hour at the end of the workday to finish up anything that didn't get done in the time block allotted, or if something truly unexpected came up. The key is that throughout the day, you will be tempted to what I call bleed into the next block of time if something isn't done in its allotted time. Don't give in to the urge to do that. Instead, you want to use your overflow time at the end of the day for things like that. So when you give yourself a gap of time where you get something done in your block of time, if it doesn't get done, then you finish it in overflow time. But when you give yourself that gap, you'll be surprised how often something is completely fine the way it is and doesn't need any more time spent on it. It's typically your perfectionist brain that's just doing what it does, telling you it's not good enough, but don't listen. Okay, step number 9, the rest of the to-do download. Now that you've scheduled the important things and you've given yourself some buffer and overflow time, I want you to go back and look at what's left on the to-do list and decide whether those things are necessary, whether they need to be calendared, or whether they can be deleted. You'd be amazed at how often you'll realize how many unnecessary things remain on your to-do download. Make sure you don't give in to the urge to schedule everything until you've used your higher brain to discern whether it warrants your time. Now, once you've either scheduled or removed the remaining items, it's time, it's time to throw away that to-do download. I promise you that throwing it away and only working off your time-blocked calendar will help you to get more done in less time. You are going to be amazed. And step number 10 is field notes. As you go about your week, jot down what you noticed about what worked and what didn't. Did you follow your calendar? Why or why not? What did you realize? What will you do differently next week? Make sure you have an attitude of curiosity instead of judgment. I tell my clients, curiosity instead of condemnation. If you didn't get something done, be curious about why. How were you feeling that led you to inaction? How would you have liked to have felt in order to get that item done? What would you need to think in order to feel that way? So field notes are simply observations. You want to allow this foolproof time blocking process to be just that, a process. Notice, adjust, implement, learn, and then continue following the steps. To recap the 10 steps, and again, you do not have to do all of them every single time. Number 1, sell yourself. Number 2, time audit. Number 3, what's typical. Number 4, to-do download. Number 5, what's most important. Number 6, estimate. Number 7, calendar. Number 8, buffer and overflow time. Number 9, the rest of the to-do download. And number 10, field notes. So now you have the process, but how do you ensure that you follow through with what you've time blocked? That's what the Balanced Accountant program will teach you. Time management is my specialty. It's my passion. So make sure you join our upcoming group coaching program in December if you want to take back control of your time and of your life. The key is that anyone can block off time on their calendar. It's how do you ensure that you follow through? That's the key. That is what I teach in the Balanced Accountant program. So I hope you join me. Okay, so in summary, those who are able to consistently produce high quality results at a sustainable rate get ahead in business and in life. Thankfully, you can have enough time when you learn a simple process for getting more done in less time. And finally, the truth is that just as your car needs barriers on the highway to keep it traveling in its lane and not veering into oncoming traffic, your human brain needs guardrails as well. All right, there you have it. That was episode number 216, a foolproof time blocking process. This is truly how I get more done in less time. And it does get simpler. I know I called it the simple 10 steps and we see the number 10 and we're like, that doesn't sound simple. That sounds complicated. That's just your lower brain. I'm going to tell you right now, that's just your lower brain, like offering you thoughts that resist anything new. Your lower brain would rather you keep doing things ineffectually the way you've been doing them. It does not want to expend any energy learning something new. But if you are serious about time management, you're going to want to do something different if what you're currently doing isn't working for you. That is why the Balanced Accountant program is so important, because I'm going to teach you how to manage your brain. That is the missing piece from every single accountant's time management process. Anybody can block off on their calendar a block of time. Anybody can schedule meetings and schedule their work. But you need to get your brain on board. And that's the most amazing part of the Balanced Accountant program. You need the foolproof system, but you also need to understand how to manage your brain. So I hope you join me. You're definitely going to want to check out the CPA MOMS newsletter, where I'm going to have the details. And I hope to see you in December. All right. Have a great week, everybody. And I'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you like what you heard, be sure to click subscribe on your podcast app so you never miss an episode. At CPA Moms, we pride ourselves on being the e-harmony of the accounting world, making it possible for business owners to have their accounting needs met by amazing CPAs that are moms just like you. Whether you are an accountant interested in growing your own solo mompreneur business, or perhaps you are looking for flexibility to work from home, or maybe you are looking to grow your current firm or team, CPA Moms has what you are looking for. Check us out at cpa-moms.com.